Hello, what's up, everybody? This is episode 5 of the Wyatt Felling Show. I'm here today with high school basketball player Luke Brown. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Not bad, man. I appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So let's talk about what's coming up here soon. You got sectionals coming up. Where's your head at going into sectionals?
We're just trying to get better every day as a team, but as an individual, I know that I have to continue to get better in order for my team to win. So just looking forward to it and excited.
Mm-hmm. What's different about this year than it was last year? So obviously you guys went from 3A to 2A, correct?
Yeah, we did.
So how'd that process go?
So we just have a really small school. We were the smallest 3A school in the state. So, mindset wise, going into sectional is a lot better this year because, we're kind of expected to win it, us and Tipton. But last year, we were kind of the underdog. So just the whole mindset of coming in as, a school that should probably win it. It gives us a lot of confidence going in.
Mm-hmm. And it's at Blackford this year?
Yeah, it is at Blackford.
Yeah, that should be really exciting. Mm-hmm. So for the listeners that don't know and aren't aware, you have kind of taken like high school basketball by storm a little bit. You've obviously not broken only your school records, but like state records as well. You were the fastest player to 1,000 points.
Yep.
You averaged, I think, like 35 last year. And then right now you're sitting at, I think, like 17th in the country in scoring. And you're averaging like somewhere like 33, something crazy. But, obviously you're succeeding at a high level. This isn't really like an overnight success. And like me and you both know that like it's a process and it's a journey, which a lot of people don't really see like at face value. So like how did that journey start? And like, just take me through the whole process.
Yeah. So it's been a long journey. I've always been the smallest kid on the court ever since I was probably in like 3rd or 4th grade. So just having to fight through that adversity and just, having to fight my way onto every team, onto everything. So, growing up being so small, I had to work hard. And I knew that I had to if I wanted to keep getting better because other people were just so much stronger and faster. So I had to do things like be able to see the court, be able to dribble the ball, be able to shoot it. So it started at a very young age. And then
what age?
I'd say I really started getting into it in 4th grade.
4th grade?
4th grade, I started playing travel. And then I really started like working out on my own. And then just after that, just kept working. And then once I got to my freshman year, I was still undersized, small. So I just kept working, kept trying to get better every day. So, and then that's the same mindset. Even though I am getting bigger and stronger, I know that now taking a step from high school to college, I'm going to have to get stronger again. Right. So it's just the continuation of getting better.
Process.
Yep.
Has it always been just basketball, or was there any other sports involved?
Yeah, it's pretty much just been basketball. I love golf. I'll play golf for fun.
Oh, you like golf?
Yeah, I love golf. But
so that's like something you're going to do like when you're older and you can't play basketball?
Yep, that is. But yeah, basketball has been about the only sport that I've really played.
That's awesome. So obviously, just like we said, it's been a long journey, and there's obviously different things that influence you. What do you think? Who has had the biggest influence on you so far?
Definitely my dad. My dad's helped me out a ton. He tells me that when I was like 3 years old, 4 years old, he'd have me in the basement on a little tyke school shooting, with correct form, and I'd always want to shoot like Dirk or like Kevin Durant and screw around, but he wouldn't let me. I had to shoot it. So yeah, he's been a huge impact. And then my coach Hoover at Blackford, he's really put my name out there, and he's really promoted me well and given me a lot of confidence. So those two guys have really helped me out a ton.
And your coach, he's related to you how?
Yeah, so he was my granddad's first cousin.
Okay.
So my granddad passed away last year, but they had been really close all their lives. So I had grown up kind of knowing about Jerry Hoover.
Gotcha. And I assume that you're going to say your dad, who's had the biggest influence on you. When I watched you play last year, I think you played Mrs. Senawa. And obviously I kind of noticed things like you definitely have a much more confidence than most kids. And I think the problem with most kids is they don't understand that like the offense favors, or basketball favors the offensive guy and the guy that just goes, and you just go and go and you keep going. Did your dad instill that in you, or is that something that was just natural to you?
I'd say it was just natural. I actually played on an AAU team under a guy named Mike Gizzy with Maximus Gizzy.
Yeah, I know. They live right by me.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
He goes to New Pass. So yeah, he had always said that I just had the guts to take the shot at the end of a game, or
so that was natural.
Yeah, I've kind of kind of thrived under pressure. It's a big game. It's what I enjoy. But really just having Jerry as a coach, and he's kind of just like let me loose and let me play. I play way better under that. But if I was controlled and had to do this and couldn't do that, I start not playing my game. But he's really just let the reins off me and let me play. So
really,
yeah, kudos to him for that.
Yeah. So as far as mindset goes, what do you think? Obviously, that mindset that I just talked about, you said is natural. What do you think your dad did instill in you?
I think he just helped me realize that I had to work hard if I wanted to be good, because I was so undersized. So he never forced basketball on me ever. He would just tell me, like, if you want to be great, you have to work at it. If you don't want to work at it, then don't and don't play. But if you want to be great, then you need to, get after it. So then after that, after he pretty much told me that, I started getting after it. So he pretty much just told me the basis of like what I needed to work on, and if I wanted to do it, I needed to, and then I took it from there.
Was it is it just you, or is it you and him every day?
It's usually me and him.
Usually you and him.
Yep.
Is it every single day?
Yeah, I'd say about every single day, except during the season, obviously, because my body needs rest. But yeah, and then another two guys that help are a guy named David Weddle. He's from Hartford City, up in Blackford. He rebounds for me all the time with my dad. And then Jim Ridenauer from Brownsburg. So I met him in Brownsburg, and he rebounded for me. And now he drives all the way to Blackford about 2 times a week to rebound for me.
You said Brownsburg. So you always haven't been at Blackford, have you?
No.
So take me through that process a little bit.
I grew up in Brownsburg for 16 years, so like my whole life.
Okay.
I went to Brownsburg Public Schools for a couple years, but I really went to Bethesda Christian Schools.
Bethesda.
In Brownsburg, yeah. That's where I mainly went from like preschool up. But yeah, just I knew Jerry was looking for a job coming out of retirement, and we told him pretty much, if you get a job, we'll come wherever you go. And we weren't really expecting him to get one because he was so old. But he ended up getting one, and then packed our bags and moved. Is
that just it, or were there any problems with you guys and the coaching at Brownsburg?
No, there wasn't. No, not really. There was nothing there. I didn't really like a big school.
What is it 3A?
Brownsburg,
or is it 4A?
They're 4A.
They're 4A.
They have probably like 2,000 some students.
Yeah.
So like I went there my sixth grade year, and I kind of liked it, but I wasn't really big with the big schools. So then I tried it again like 8th grade year at Brownsburg, and I really didn't like it. So I'd always been like a smaller school type of guy. So I tried, I was going to go to Plainfield, which is like 15 minutes
Why
from Brownsburg.
Plainfield?
I really liked Coach Weaver.
Okay.
Coach Hoover actually told me about Coach Weaver.
Okay.
And it was like a smaller school. It wasn't like Bethesda 1A, and it wasn't like Brownsburg. It was huge. It was like a good
in the middle.
Middle.
Was he the head coach?
Yeah, he was.
He's the head coach.
Yeah.
Yes, because I heard that you didn't always you weren't always at Blackford. So yeah, I was interested in kind of how that went down, that switch to Brownsburg. It seems like watching you play, it seems like Blackford's like a perfect fit. Yeah. It seems like you have the freedom to do what you want. As far as just coaching goes, and everything. What would you say? I've experienced this a little bit. Obviously, if you could say one thing that separates you from other people, it'd be hard work. But what would you say to the people that say, "Oh, he's lucky because he gets to take more shots"? I guarantee you've had people say stuff like that a lot. What would you say to people that say stuff like that?
I would just say my game is separate from other people because of the way that I affect the game. Whether that's, if I need to score the ball, I can score the ball. If I need to get guys open and pass, like I affect the game in so many different ways rather than just being a scoring guard, like finding guys when they're open, finding guys when we need a bucket. Like if Strobel's hot, I know I got to get him the ball,
right?
And little things like that. I feel like I'm a mature guard mentally for my grade and for my age. So I feel like that separates me from a lot of others.
It seems like a lot of people don't see past that scoring.
Yeah, exactly. They just see like, oh, he shoots 24 shots a game. But then again, I mean, you have to be good enough to get yourself open for 24 shots a game. And I shoot about like 55%.
Yeah, you got to hit the shots too.
Exactly. So
there's a lot that goes into it. But yeah, no, people love labeling people. They love just throwing stuff out there without looking past like face value. Because I guarantee I knew that you had people that said stuff like that just from watching you. But if you look at the percentages and you look at the numbers, then like they don't lie.
Exactly.
Like your numbers are insane.
Exactly.
And speaking of those numbers, so like I said at the beginning, you were the fastest to reach 1,000 points in Indiana. Some articles that I was reading when I was doing a little bit of research talk about Damon Bailey's record, which I don't know if you're thinking about that much. When somebody says, and you hear people talking on like in the streets and stuff about you possibly reaching like Damon Bailey, what do you think about that?
I think it's pretty cool, but I don't really focus on it that much. I like to win games. I think a sectional and a regional and semi-state and those things are way more important to me than a scoring record. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, people have ran over the stats with me and what I would have to average and this and that, and it's pretty insane numbers. But he went to state like 3 years in a row.
Yeah, and dude, it's those games after those 25 games is what matters.
Exactly.
Because when I was trying to hit like a certain number, those 2 or 3 extra games is like 100 points. That's like huge every single year.
Yeah.
So that obviously is a huge difference for him.
And then I was hurt my freshman year.
Oh yeah,
so
tell me a little bit about that.
I missed like 9 games my freshman year.
What injury?
I had a hairline fracture in my ankle. I was driving to the basket and I tried to stop and go back, and it just gave. So I was
that in practice or a game?
That was in a game.
That was in a game?
Yeah, it was at Jay County.
Was that like during your season or was that over the summer?
Yeah, during my season.
It was like first, second game?
It was like, so I played probably like 13 games.
Oh, okay. You played that first half.
And then played about the first half and then didn't get to play the second half or the sectional and stuff like that.
So how many games did you miss?
I think I missed 8 or 9 games. I can't remember, but that's tough.
So that's, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Those extra games, you kind of got those taken away from you.
Yep.
But yeah, it does get a little bit annoying when people are constantly talking about like the stats and the numbers, because like for me I would just much rather win games because it's fun to me.
Yep, exactly.
And that was like kind of like a better high than like breaking a bunch of records. So yeah, man, I think it's cool that you have a chance of beating him. I know also the kid from Marion.
Yeah, he just tore his ACL.
Oh, he tore his ACL?
Jalen Blackman.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, so I told everybody that I thought he was going to be the one to do it because his team, he had made 2 pretty deep runs in the tournament, and he can score. But yeah, I think about a month ago he tore his ACL, so he's out for a while. Yeah.
So he probably missed like most of the season.
Yeah, I think he played probably like 10 games, and then now
that's all it takes for that to be done.
Yeah, you just have to stay healthy. That's the problem. So
right. So let's go back last year a little bit. We talked about that's sectionals, correct, at Newcastle?
Yeah.
So take me through what's going through your head a little bit. Obviously, this is last year, sectionals, 3A, the biggest high school gym in the country. There's about 10,000 people watching.
Yeah.
I was there. People were standing up. Everywhere was, you could barely get in there. You're playing a Delta team that's undefeated. They're obviously putting 2 guys on you.
Yeah.
Because like, why wouldn't they? What is going through your head?
So when we pulled up, I was not expecting. I mean, I was expecting a decent crowd.
You weren't expecting that many people.
No, I mean for the final maybe, but this was like the semifinals.
Yeah, it was just
So when we pulled up, and I didn't even pay attention to the cars in the parking lot. We just walked in, and that's the biggest crowd that I've.
That was
like
the atmosphere
seen.
was insane.
Yeah, it was insane. So I was hyped for that.
Yeah.
So that got me going. But there was a lot of talk before that game with people from Delta because they're not far from us. And so they were talking about how this specific kid was going to lock me up and this, that, the other. And so, to start the game, I think I had like 10 straight points to start the game, had a couple assists, and then they went to like a 1-3-1, like double team type thing. And we just struggled. We got to shoot in there like one time for our practice. And we're not used to shooting in a big gym like that. So our guys were a little off, so it was tough. So they just stayed in that zone and it killed us. But yeah, it was crazy. It was a really fun environment to play in front of. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
And then your thoughts on switching from that big sectional? Obviously the atmosphere, the environment is crazy. Would you rather be in a sectional like that, or would you rather be in a sectional like you are now?
Probably like the one we're in now, just because.
I mean, it fits your school better.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And we have a better shot at winning it. I really want to win a sectional really bad. But yeah, we are going to miss that little bit of hype around it. But I mean, our gym's going to be pretty packed.
Oh, it'll be packed
for our sectional. Yeah,
it'll be packed. So I know you're focused on sectionals and everything. Have you looked past sectionals at all and see who's in your regional and stuff?
Yeah. Yep. So
what does that look like?
So we've got the first game. We've got the winner of like Alexandria, and we've beat them this year. Monroe Central, Winchester, Wapahani, and I think LaPel. I think this regional's at LaPel. So yeah, we should. I mean, our sectional is probably going to be harder than our regional, if I'm being honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we did lose to Winchester in the season, and they'll be in it. But we were up 26 going into the fourth, and
26 points,
and blew a 26-point lead. Yeah, it was.
Were they just hitting everything?
Oh, some kid that averages like 7 points a game had 35.
Are you serious?
Hit like 8 threes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So was that at Winchester?
It was at Blackford. Yeah, and it wasn't even like we were cocky, like we were going to win. You know what I'm saying? Up 26, so we just no. I mean, they just caught fire. So
that's crazy.
So I'm hoping if they could win their sectional and we could get them into regionals, that's what I'm hoping for. But
right,
who knows?
Right, and obviously jumping from 3A to 2A sectional is a huge difference. I mean, the sizes of those schools are going from 400 to 500 kids to over 1,000.
Yeah.
And how much has your schedule changed from that 3A to 2A jump, like your regular season schedule?
It's changed a lot.
It has?
Because of Coach Hoover. Like he's getting bigger name schools on our team. So like we played the 1A Bar Reeve. They were state.
They're always good.
They went to state. They lost to Blackhawk Christian. And then we played.
Oh, they lost to that was
first team. Last year.
Oh, last year. Yeah. I'm thinking of 2 years ago. Yeah.
And then we played Andrean, who won state last year for 2A. This year they're on our schedule. We added Northwestern. So Coach Hoover's adding a lot of like 2A, 1A teams that are really good, which is going to help us for the tournament. But we did, so like to let you know where we are, like we played Andrean and we lost on a tip-in buzzer beater, and they were like at state last year for 2A. So
really,
we could make a run this year.
You could definitely make a run. Yeah. And we were talking about earlier just about obviously the daily grind of everything, and how your dad has had a big influence on you. And a lot of the times it's you and your dad working out. Take me through like a normal day for you. Even going to school, going to practice, and then what your workout routine looks like afterwards.
Yeah, so in the off season, I'm usually in the gym at about 6:30 in the morning, probably I'd say 3 times a week, and then I get my shots up, my ritual routine of like shots that I'm going to shoot in a game for about an hour. And
is everything game speed? Or
yeah.
I mean, I assumed.
Yeah, so. Yeah, everything's game speed, and like I'm going to shoot it in a game, so then I'm getting the reps, as many reps as I need for about an hour. And then I go to school, and we obviously have a weightlifting class that I'm in. And then usually I'll go home and take a nap after school, and then I get back up, and then I'm in the gym at night doing some like ball handling routine that I do.
So you do 2 workouts usually, on most days?
Yeah, usually every day.
So that first workout, how is that different from your later workout?
So like,
is it more shooting?
Yeah. So like the first workout in the morning is more like shooting, because like I'm gonna be tired and my mind's not gonna, like I'm not gonna be able to move like I usually can because I'm just waking up. So that's more so like shooting, and then in the afternoon it's more so like skill work. So like, I don't know if you know who Micah Lancaster is, but he's like a trainer. So like I have his stuff on my phone, and I've already been talking to my dad like when the season's over, like my morning workouts are going to be shooting, and my afternoon is going to be like skill development or getting in with a trainer. So that's how they're different. But like, so that's in the off season, and then during the season, it's a lot harder because I'm exhausted from 2-hour practices and everything. But usually I get like a ritual 20-minute shooting workout in about every day, probably 4 times a week. And then I have practices and I have lifting and I do some core stuff and some other hip strengthening stuff at home and yoga just to stretch so my body doesn't get too sore.
The stretching is so important.
Yeah, it is.
Nobody really does it.
Yeah, I have to, or I won't be able to.
Yeah, you won't even be able to move.
Yeah.
And if you know what you're doing, like you're never going to be sore, really.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on a game day, I have like a ritual of I get up before school and I get up my shots, and then I go to school, and then right before the game, about halftime of the JV game, I go in and get up shots with either David Weddle or Jim, and then I go through a little ritual of ball handling and shooting, and then I play. So it's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
during the season.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's obviously a lot. How much, obviously those things are all impacting and influencing, your performances in a game. How much does, obviously you lift weights. How much are you focused on diet at all? Or do you like even worry about it that much?
Yeah. So during a season, I'm not as like big on it, but which seems weird, but like in the off season, I'm definitely more like,
Are you trying to like bulk up?
Yeah, trying to gain weight. So like in the off season, I'll be taking like protein shakes. I take a lot of vitamins, just trying to, work on, lifting and getting stronger in my legs and everything. So yeah, I'm trying to get stronger, because if you look at those guards in the Big Ten, and I mean, they're huge.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they might not be tall, but they're pushing like 195.
Oh yeah,
so,
definitely.
So yeah, like during the off season, my diet, like I'm just trying to eat I talked to the Indiana State strength and conditioning coach, and I asked him, I was like, what do I need to eat to gain weight? And he was like, it doesn't matter what you eat, just eat as much.
It's just all about calories.
Yeah, it's all about calories.
Yeah.
So
and you're burning so much that you have to eat a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, just trying to eat a lot and trying to put on some weight.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously you said earlier, like everything is game speed and everything is like 100%. I think a lot of people, where they go wrong is your practice. And I don't know if you're going to agree with this, but your practice has to be so much harder than the game, and the game has to feel like it's easy.
Yep.
Everybody, if you just go to the gym and just watch people shoot around, they're practicing the wrong things, and they're practicing it over and over and over and over and again, and it's compounding.
Exactly.
And every time they do it wrong, it takes 22 times to do it right.
Exactly.
And I think that's the thing most people mess up on, is they just don't understand that your practice has to be so much harder than the game. And you can't take any time off in practice. So
yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, and you're putting in a lot of work. What would you say? What would you say your plans are after high school?
So I have 9 Division I offers right now.
Okay.
And then I have a list full of probably 15 to 20 that have shown interest. So my goal is just to play this junior season of AAU out and see what offers come and what comes. And then, obviously I want to play Division I basketball somewhere. So, that's wherever I go after high school will be to play basketball.
What schools are you looking at right now?
All right. So I actually have a list on my phone.
It gets serious when you got to pull out a list.
Yeah. I never want to snub one school. So I have offers from Ball State, Toledo, Akron, Indiana State.
Get a little bit closer to the mic. Sorry.
Ball State, Toledo, Akron, Indiana State, Miami of Ohio, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Kent State, Iona, and Lehigh.
Those are all D1?
Yeah. So those are all my offers. And then I have like a list full of like teams that have like non-offers that have just contacted me. So just seeing where I want to go and, putting the pieces together. Cause like I haven't gotten to really visit any like particular places yet because I'm in the middle of the season. So I feel like when the season's over and all of that, then that's when I'm going to start getting into that.
When did those, obviously you got hurt freshman year, but you still had a really good freshman year, a really good sophomore year. When did those offers like start coming in from those colleges?
So I got one from Iona. I think it was my sophomore year. They had watched me play the summer before and they called out of the blue, and so they offered. And then sophomore year, after I think my season was over, Ball State offered. And then, so I had those two, and then I had a lot of interest because once one school offers, the whole conference starts, chipping in. So then that summer, I went to the NCAA certified camp in Champaign,
And they
Illinois.
invited you to that?
Yeah. So I got invited to that, and I played and I played really well.
When was that?
This was last July, at the end of July.
So after sophomore year.
Yep. So then,
was that like with a bunch of like D1 kids?
yeah, it was I feel like it was with a bunch of guys that it wasn't like, if you had an offer from Duke or if you had an offer from so-and-so and you were big time, like you wouldn't go.
Right. But people that had options.
People that had a ton of options and wanted to get more exposure. So they were smart with like, I only had like 6 kids on my team. And so I was playing a ton. And then the coaches were like coaches that were like D2 coaches and D3 coaches. So they knew what they were doing. So I really excelled in the drills and in the playing, and my teammates were really good. So that helped me a lot. And I left there with 6 offers. I got 6 calls. And then after that, I just got texts from, so many text messages from a bunch of different schools. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. Mm-hmm. So most of your day is obviously taken up by basketball. Yeah. When you're not playing basketball, what are you doing?
Usually napping, getting ready for another workout. Yeah.
Sleeping and hooping.
Literally, that's about it. I like spending time with family, I'll go see a movie here and there. I really love watching movies. I hang out with friends. My friend Gunnar, he goes to Brownsburg. He actually plays basketball at Olivet.
His name's Gunnar?
Yeah.
I like that name.
Yep. He plays basketball at Olivet. I hang out with him. He was just up at my house this weekend. So me and him hang out, play Fortnite and stuff like that. But really, mainly I'm just playing basketball throughout the week and then socializing sometimes on the weekends, but mainly just basketball.
So you definitely have friends. How is that process gone from, because a lot of people like would ask me like, why are you spending so much time playing basketball? Like, how is that like benefiting you? Like, have you had like people that like just don't understand it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Sometimes my mom doesn't understand it.
What does she say?
She's just like, sometimes she just wants me to be a kid and thinks that I need to sleep in and get my rest and this and that. But
they don't understand the grind.
A lot of people don't understand it. I saw a quote, I think from Kobe in like 5th grade. It was like, you're going to lose some friends in the process of trying to become great, which is completely true because a lot of people don't understand it. But like my friend Gunnar and my dad, like they've done a pretty good job of like keeping me like away from basketball to a certain extent. There's a certain time when it gets obsessive.
Right.
So but they've done a pretty good job.
But for the most part, like what people don't understand is that's like your default setting.
Oh yeah.
Is going like 100 miles an hour, working out every single day. For most people, their default setting, it would be like socializing and being with their friends.
Yep.
So you said when you're not playing basketball, it's like socializing, you like watching movies and stuff. How about like your interests? Like, what are you looking to major in college and stuff like that?
So I want to major in business. In college. And then I've always been into like stuff like this, like radio stuff and like ESPN and stuff like that. Like I'm media. Media. Like I'm a real like stats kind of guy. So that's one thing that I've been interested in. But basketball, just like being so dedicated to it and having specific workouts and specific things that I have to get done, like I feel like it's only going to help me later in life when I have to go get a job, because you're expected to be there on time and to work hard and so
accountability is huge.
Exactly. So I think basketball has definitely helped me in those regards.
You said business, a lot of media stuff. Like, could you see yourself doing your own thing and like running your own business?
Yeah, for sure. That's what I want to do. I think I really want to play overseas basketball. So that's like my main thing. If obviously if the NBA doesn't work out, I want to play, or the D League, like overseas is big for me, because like I'm big in faith. I'm big in God. So being able to like go and like be like a minister, like a prophet for God, like overseas and over in a different area would be cool for me. But then after that, with connections with people overseas and connections here and connections with my college, I feel like I could maybe start a business or something like that.
Yeah. Some of those guys playing overseas like have it made, because like they make pretty decent money. And like some of those guys are living in like the Bahamas or like just really good parts of the world and are getting paid to do what they love.
Exactly.
Like I feel like that's like, obviously you have an option, like you're probably going to get a degree and stuff like that, but the whole point or the whole purpose should be like getting paid to do what you love.
Exactly.
And like if you get to that point, man, that's just like a blessing and just like super exciting.
And I've been looking up like how much they get paid, and like they don't even like their season. They don't even play like that long. Like the NBA is a long season. They play for like I don't know, like 5 months, let's say, but they get paid for like a lot for those 5 months. So it's like, you know, they're getting good money, and then you know they have an off season where you know the NBA's off season is like very short.
Right.
So I think overseas would be pretty cool.
Yeah, because you'd have most of the year off, obviously to like train and stuff, and then you could come back home.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good goal to have. All right, man. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yep, for sure.
Obviously, you've you know you're super successful at such a young age, and like you're definitely inspiring like a lot of young kids. You definitely inspired me because I remember like looking at like the max preps things last year. I was like, who's that kid at the top? Like I'm gonna catch that kid that's like averaging so many points. So
that's awesome.
You've inspired me. So I appreciate you coming on, man. Good luck in sectionals and the rest of your season. Good luck in college and everything else you do. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. For our listeners, thank you for tuning in. You can catch us on YouTube. We'll have it up here shortly. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everything. I don't know what that is.
I just saw that when it was flying by.
Anyway, appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you later. Peace out.